Some say the age of monsters is over, but what if the most terrifying creatures in history never really left? From a prehistoric shark that could bite a whale in half, to a sea serpent worshipped and feared across 3 continents, and a beast so colossal ancient sailors thought it was a piece of the earth itself until it moved. These are 5 mythical creatures that might have been real, and if they were, they could still be out there. And at the very end, we'll face the one so massive, if it rises again, nothing on land or sea could stop it. 3 million years ago. The ocean belonged to a single predator, and the megalodon, a shark longer than a bus, with teeth the size of your hand, and a bite so powerful it could crush a car. It didn't hunt fish, it hunted whales. Entire pods, gone, in minutes. For centuries, we believed it was gone. A fossil from a time before humans. Safe, extinct, but the ocean doesn't give up its secrets easily. In 1875, the crew of the HMS Challenger pulled up 2 massive shark teeth from nearly 3 kilometers deep. They weren't black and fossilized, they were white, fresh. That shouldn't be possible, unless the creature that dropped them was still alive. Even today, fishermen tell stories of shadows, longer than their boats, gliding silently below. Sonar scans, picking up shapes too big for any known shark, moving at impossible speeds. Skeptics say it's misread data, a whale, a submarine, but deep-sea researchers know the truth. More than 80% of our oceans remain unexplored. So if the world's biggest predator wanted to hide, it could, and maybe it already is. Because if something that size is still out there, what else could be lurking just out of sight? In the Scottish Highlands, there is a lake that never seems still, dark, deep, and said to be home to something that shouldn't exist, the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie. The legend began in the 6th century, when a monk wrote of a water beast dragging people beneath the waves, but it exploded in 1934 with a single photograph, a long neck, breaking the surface, a shape that didn't belong. For decades, scientists have scoured Loch Ness, sonar sweeps, underwater cameras. They found shadows, movements, but never proof. And yet, the sightings keep coming. Fishermen, tourists, even police officers claiming to see something massive just under the surface. Some say it's a giant eel. Others believe it could be a surviving plesiosaur, a marine reptile from the age of dinosaurs. But here's the unsettling part. Loch Ness is over 200 meters deep, with tunnels leading directly to the sea. Meaning, if Nessie is real, it could leave, disappear into the open ocean, return whenever it wants. So maybe the question isn't, does the Loch Ness Monster exist? Maybe it's, where is it? Right now, in the oldest stories ever written, there is one creature the oceans feared. Not a shark. Not a whale. Something far worse, the Leviathan. Ancient Hebrew texts describe it as a twisting serpent of chaos, its body coiled around the world, its scales impenetrable, its breath fire, its roar enough to shake the heavens. To sailors, Leviathan wasn't just a myth, it was a promise that somewhere in the deep, a predator beyond comprehension was waiting. The book of Job calls it king over all the children of pride. The Psalms speak of God battling it to keep the seas in order. Even in other cultures, it appears again and again, in Ugaritic myths, in Norse sagas, in the whispers of Polynesian fishermen. But here's what makes it unsettling. These weren't connected civilizations, and yet, they all describe the same thing. A monstrous being, long, scaled, and ancient, rising from the abyss. Some historians believe the Leviathan was inspired by real encounters with giant oarfish, massive sea snakes, or unknown whales. Others think it's still out there, and if it is, it wouldn't just hunt you, it would unmake you. Because the Leviathan isn't just a sea monster, it's the ocean when it wants to kill. Deep in the forests of medieval Russia, hunters spoke of a beast that could not be caught, the Indrik, taller than any elephant, stronger than any bull, a horn like a spear, rising from its head. It was said to live on the holy mountain, a place no man could reach. When it walked, the earth shook. When it drank, entire rivers ran dry. Legends claimed it was peaceful, unless disturbed. But if threatened, it could drive its horn clean through a tree, or a man. Some believe the Indrik was a distorted memory of an actual Ice Age giant, the Elasmotherium, a massive, one-horned rhinoceros, with a skull built for impact. Fossils show it roamed the steppes of Russia less than 30,000 years ago, which means our ancestors could have seen it. Imagine standing on a frozen plain. The wind dies. Snow falls silent. And from the mist, a shadow bigger than any living animal steps forward. One strike, and you're gone. So maybe the Indrik isn't just folklore. Maybe it's proof that even the gentlest giants can be monsters. In the deepest place on Earth, where no sunlight has ever reached, there are whispers of something moving, not in human stories, in the sonar logs of submarines that never surfaced again. They call it the Black Leviathan of Mariana. No one has ever seen its full body. Only the shadows, the tremors in the water, and the screams of metal hulls as they're torn apart 3 miles under the surface. In 2003, a deep-diving probe descended into the Mariana Trench. It was built to withstand crushing pressure, strong enough to survive anywhere in the ocean. 20 minutes into the descent, its lights caught movement. Something massive slid past the camera. Too close, too fast. The feed cut to static. When the winch pulled the probe back up, the steel frame was warped, bent outward, as if something had tried to swallow it whole. Scientists blamed equipment failure, but deep-sea engineers disagreed. Steel doesn't bend that way, unless something alive is pushing from the inside. If it exists, the Black Leviathan wouldn't need to surface. It could rise, just far enough to snatch whatever it wants. A ship, a submarine, an entire pod of whales. And if it ever came high enough for us to see its full size, it wouldn't just be the end of our search, it would be the end of our oceans. Because some monsters don't just hide in the deep, they are the deep. So the only question left is, when it finally rises, will we even see it coming?